Now to a story that continues to grab attention. We're learning some new details after that historic ship washed ashore on the First Coast last week. The 19th century ship was found in Ponte Vedra. Archaeologists now know more about it.
And that includes what the original ship may have looked like when the ship may have sailed. And now even a 3D rendering of the remains are here to preserve history. Justin Clark joins us and just talk about this new imagery for us.
So yes, indeed, a 3D rendering, and you can zoom in and look at it from all different angles, and you can see the ribs right here. And it was created by archaeologists, and if you actually get really close in at some point, you can see the nails, you can see underneath it, and you can even see where it's been beaten with a hammer. That's why archaeologists think it's that old of a ship once it sank. And meanwhile, the real ship sits on the beach and is still a big attraction.
And we saw the shipwreck and we wanted to come check it out.
As thousands of people park along A1A and pour onto South Ponte Vedra Beach to look at a part of a 19th century ship that washed ashore.
Well, so this is a three-dimensional model.
Marine archaeologist Chuck Mead is researching the vessel from his office.
So this is one of the kinds of ways that we record the sites or document the shipwreck.
He and his team with the Lighthouse Archaeological Maritime Program took hundreds of pictures of the wreck last Wednesday, the first day it washed ashore.
Basically, the computer stitches them together. We get those photographs from all different angles.
They and the Florida Public Archaeology Network created this 3D imagery.
We can zoom in.
They now have a better idea of how old the ship is.
We think it's most likely it dates to between the 1830s and the 1860s.
Archaeologists also have an idea of what the whole ship looked like.
So it could be something like this.
And experts believe it most likely was built in the southern U.S.
And that's because of the mix of softwoods and hardwoods.
As cool as this wreck is,
it's killing us.
that's because
there's overwhelming public interest. Everyone wants to save it, and we're doing our best, and it's hard. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to save it or not.
Big forklifts have tried to rescue the ship, but
they couldn't make it. They kept on getting stuck in the sand. It was impossible to get there.
The high tide waves are also ripping it apart. And then the sun is drying it out, which is not good. And then
unfortunately, we have souvenir hunters.
Some people want to take home a little piece of the ship, which is illegal.
I heard a story just today that someone came up with a chainsaw and had that chainsaw just beginning to bite into the wood when someone renting short-term rental on the beach ran out and said, "What are you doing? Are you crazy? This is a piece of history."
If they're damaging the wreck, that's a first-degree misdemeanor.
And you are in deeper trouble if you try to remove part of a historic artifact from state property.
That becomes a third-degree felony, and same if they try and sell or trade any part of it.
The county, even though it's on state land, has placed deputies to help guard the wreck, but they're not there all the time, and so enforcement is tough.
Very tough.
And expensive, and so is saving an incredibly heavy yet delicate artifact.
If there was any way we could save it, we're talking with the state to see if there's anything that can be done.
And so this 3D imagery becomes incredibly important to help save details that may either wash or be whisked away.
A chainsaw?
Wow.
Oh dear, but I heard the crowds have been really big.
Big. According to the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office, 3,000 cars came by A1A in that area just this weekend. Also, back to that part about taking a piece of the artifact. Indeed, there are fines and jail time if you are slammed with an arrest or anything like that, a violation. Also, you could even lose your vehicles and your computers if you try to sell any of it online.
So just observe it.
Don't
just
look
look
at
at the
it.
beauty, don't touch
Be
it.
amazed.
It's so cool though. Thanks, Jess.